Let's go grab some comic books, read them, talk about them, and have awkward sips of coffee together. Yeah, quarantine sucks. Hey, what's going on, you wonderful weirdos? Thanks so much for swinging back by. I do appreciate it. Today, we're going to be talking about the comic books that came out on May the 26th and kind of look into it and see what we got. If you got a few seconds, give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below if you agree or disagree. Maybe I missed a book this week. Definitely let us know. So without further ado, let's jump in and let's kind of go ahead and get the weird one out of the way. Yeah, Masters of the Universe, number 6. This storyline started off really great. I was really getting into it. What in some ultimate multiverse, there's a Skeletor before he was a skeleton, Kendor, and what if he was actually kind of the good guy and all the bad guys were really good guys? You know, what would that look like? Apparently not very good when it gets to the end because this basically this turned into a piece about how anybody and everybody should and could be He-Man. Fine, so be it. I get it. It's a thing, but is it really a way to end a He-Man book? I want to say no. This was really a very soft ending. I was expecting something a little bigger. Didn't get it. And so, yeah, not a huge fan of this one. A lot of propaganda speaking about how I think the very last line in it is, "We have the power." And I was like, okay, I get what you did there. You changed it. You're trying to instill coolness in people. But it just came off like, remember the Care Bears? The Care Bear stare? Right? And as a kid, you thought, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. I get it. They care so much. They can change the world with a stare. Well, this, now when you look at it, you're like, no, that's just awkward to sit there and stare at something till it changes. That's what this felt like at the end. It was just, oh, cringy. All right, moving on. Justice League, number 45. This is Cold War Part 2. The unfortunate thing is apparently I missed Cold War Part 1, and I really wish I didn't. Spectre is back, and because he is separated from his human host, who's locked up in Themyscira, he's actually the spirit of God's vengeance himself is kind of over bubbling because he has no way to release all this vengeance. So he makes the superheroes fight each other, especially the Justice League. And what happens is all these little tiny nuances that just kind of irk people actually rises to like a rageous storm of rage and hate. And it's actually really good because it actually shows how people, sometimes things just kind of get to you and you start writing those scripts in your head about what you're going to say to take care of it, but you never do, and it just builds up. It's a great depiction of that in a comic book. I thought it was really smart. Plus, I'm a huge Spectre fan. I always like the idea of DC kind of playing with God, the God. They even reference him as, Big G God. I was like, oh, that's really cool. So our superheroes have to rush over to Themyscira to try to get Corgan out of Themyscira, who apparently just volunteered himself to be put in prison because he wants to teach God a lesson. I like this. I know in some cases this can be dangerous ground to walk on. Some people don't believe in a God. Some people don't like the mention of God. Like that's a problem. But given in a comic book setting, I think we can all kind of relate that it does make for an interesting story to address this concern every now and then, especially when you're dealing with mythological gods, Satan, demons, and all this other stuff. So it's kind of cool to see them kind of walking in that territory. What are they going to do with it next? I don't know. But this is probably my favorite DC book so far. And this, mind you, I missed the first one. I got to go find the first one. So I got to get caught up on this. This is good, and I'll be picking this some more of this. Which, I didn't think that would happen anytime soon with some of the DC stuff that came out. Like, I've really been let down. Next, we'll talk about some indies that I got this week. The first one is Disaster Inc. I need an awkward sip of coffee. 1 second. Not going to edit that. Disaster Inc. So basically, this is like an underground tourist company that takes you to places that are off limits and disastrous. In this one, they're taking a group of people to, and I'm going to mess this up. I want to say it's Fukushima, the nuclear reactor place in Japan. Right, the one that blew up here not too long ago. They're going to take them there, but apparently there's some radioactive ghost samurais whacking heads off of people. like literally, not literally in a fictional sense, but either way, it's boring. It's boring. Like they have the rogue scallion guy, and you think he would be entertaining, but it just keeps flip flopping back and forth into his characterization of being a criminal and kind of being witty and charming, and it doesn't smooth the transition. It's just these hard clumpiness to the writing to it. Didn't really much like it. I get where they're going with it, and it could be really cool, but I just don't think the writing on this one's really on point. And that's from is that Aftershock? Yeah, Aftershocks been stepping up their game lately. I mean, for Aftershock stuff. Next one, Dead Day. Hey, what happens if once a year all the people rise from the grave to come see you? Right? You lock and load and you start dropping them zombie bodies, right? Well, not in here. In here, this takes place in, I guess, the future. I don't know. But for 4 years now, dead people have been raising up out of the grave to go see loved ones or to settle vengeance. Apparently, there's a slight cult that kind of worships this day, and this is fun. This is fun. They can play with so much of this. Our heroine, I guess is what I'm going to call her. Apparently, she's meeting up with a dead boyfriend that she was supposed to marry, but her husband now is like really cool with her taking off with him to go kill somebody. That's the weird part of the story. Everything else that goes on in this story is actually kind of fun, and I did enjoy it. More than likely be picking up issue 2 if it's at the local comic book shop. This is not something I would order online. And again, Aftershock. Coming out with some neat stuff. Next one's from Boom Studios, and it's it's The King of Nowhere. So I'm not a fan of the art in this, but I do like the conceptual story of this about some place out in the middle of nowhere where kind of like freaks and mythological beings live. And we kind of got a modern day guy who kind of just swam into it very quickly. He fits in issue 2, like people know him in town now, and he's only been there for roughly 48 hours. I don't know. Regardless, I like this mindset of this particular character as he walks through there and he kind of justifies everything in his head. He says that sometimes knowledge is a bad thing, sometimes it's a good thing. Truth is, just staying ignorant, yada, yada, yada. That's interesting. I like our villain in it because he looks just like any other middle-aged suburban white dude that cuts his grass. He literally kills people with a nail gun. He's the personification of suburbanite. It's kind of funny. But he's going around killing people because he's looking for our I don't want to call him our hero, that's for sure. Our main character in this story, who also, by the way, is his best friend in this area, mind you, in 48 hours, is a fish-headed guy. Yeah, he's kind of like the rogue guy, hustler type person, but it works as a buddy cop type thing. I don't know how to describe it. You definitely, if you like oddball stories about weirdities and oddities, this is going to be it. Next, we got Amazing Spider-Man number 43. This is part 2 of the COG story. So what? Wilson Fisk showed up. So what? Big Monster turned into basically a pet for Peter Parker. They now keep him as a pet now that it's shrunken down. And Boomerang played fetch with you guessed it, a boomerang. The end. Nothing really deep in this. No real actualization. Just, I'm a bad guy because, life treated me really hard. And now that somebody just cares and loves for me, I'm just going to bite their finger and we're all going to laugh at it. Next. Next is Avengers. I like this one already. We got our boy Moon Knight on it. Already he's doing some crazy stuff. And the question is he crazy? Right? That's kind of the shtick to the character, right? In this one, I don't think he is. Right there in the beginning, we see he gets into a fight with Iron Fist. And Iron Fist is like, hey, we've never teamed up before. That's really cool. Who are we going to team up and go beat up? And he's like, no, I'm pretty much here to take the Iron Fist from you. And pretty much does. And then he goes around and he beats up on Doctor Strange, takes the Eye of Agamotto. Takes Mjolnir, which we found out Mjolnir, even though in comic book lore, typically they say Mjolnir is made of Ur, U-R-N. What I didn't know, and actually looked this up, is that the word is actually, it's moon rock. So that kind of makes him able to control it. I don't know where that's going to go. Like, he's not actually holding it. He's making it float around and stuff. It's weird. Whatever. Khonshu's in this, and he's actually separated from Moon Knight in this, talking to him and on the moon, because that's where they hang out. So he's got to go around and get all these powers. Why? Because apparently some dramatic thing is about to happen because it's a comic book. It's probably another crisis event. That's fine, as long as you keep this Moon Knight guy in it. And also we see him switch around from his robes to like a fighting type outfit. And then, of course, he's in his suit as well. And then we get a little snippet of all the personalities that are locked up in him as well. So if you're kind of behind on who Moon Knight is, or maybe you didn't read a whole lot of it and you've just been hearing a bunch of stuff, but you've just been regurgitating what people say so you feel like you fit in. I know I do that too. It's okay. All right. But if you catch this issue right here, you'll get caught up and you'll kind of have a better understanding of who Moon Knight is without having to go pay some exorbitant price because Moon Knight's about to be a TV show. So therefore, issue number 1 is like $1,000, whatever the case may be. Good issue to pick it up on. Good storyline. I think most people will enjoy it. It seems very comic booky. Imagine that. And of course, I had to pick up a Venom number 25. And this is the variant cover. I'm not sure which one it is. I had to pay a couple bucks more for it. Deepest book this week that I've had in my collection here. Right there in the beginning, we go through the psychological crisis of identity crisis. Am I good? Am I bad? Am I a father? Am I an enemy? And he's dialoguing all this through while he's talking to the Avengers. And basically, he's just also filling in the Avengers on what happened on Venom Island when Dylan kind of mind ported himself there. I don't know, projected himself there, maybe. I'm not sure what he did, but we're really starting to understand what Dylan's powers are. And that's really cool. I've been asking for that forever. We finally have an understanding. He is like Omega level symbiote ruler kid, I guess. I said we understood. We know what he does. We just don't understand why. So that was really cool. I love the whole Tyrannosaurus Rex scene, Venomized one in here. I really like Carnage as a villain in this particular story run. I thought it was really good. I really found the dialogue that he was talking at the beginning there about good and bad and wanting to kill Spider-Man because he thought he was doing good, but he really didn't. So is he a good judge of character? You know, I would like to think that a lot of people kind of go through this at least once in their lives where they sit down and they're like, okay, well, let's evaluate ourselves here a little bit. am I doing good or do I just think I'm doing good? And this is a perfect example of it. So if you haven't picked it up already, it's not too late. Rush out and grab yourself a copy, read it through it, and figure out your own problems. I'm kidding. Okay. Other than that, that's all my comic books this way. Hey, big shout out to Spectacular Spider Grandpa. We went out to eat last night. We have some outdoor eating areas. Had a good time. It was always fun. My wife and him did a little pop hunting. So that's what they do. Awkward sibs. Big plans for the future. I have a secret squirrel project that I'm currently putting together for my next contest that I plan on doing. So definitely keep your eyes open for that. And for all you that jumped in on my auction over at People's Online Auction House, thanks. I hope you got the books that you want. And if you haven't already, be sure you contact the mailer to make sure that they mail them to you the correct way that you want them mailed. We may be doing another one here in the near future. Still, I didn't put everything in that one. Plus, I think I have another shipment coming. So other than that, guys, I don't really have much else. Hopefully I'll see you in Baltimore, if it even happens. Baltimore Comic Con in October. Other than that, stay safe, stay healthy, and stay away from one another. Catch you later. Bye.